and you just do it. You got to think about your life. Being a black man in America isn't easy. The hunt is on. And you're the prey.
There's a real problem, and it's showing up very strongly in our data on the African American community, and we're doing everything in our power to address this challenge. It's a tremendous challenge. It's terrible. And provide support to African American citizens of this country who are going through a lot, but it's been disproportional. They're getting hit very, very hard. In fact, we're seeing tremendous evidence that African Americans are affected at a far greater percentage number than other citizens of our country, because we're dealing with our country. Now we're looking at it from a worldwide standpoint. Tony Fauci is looking at it very strongly, but these numbers have started to come out, and they're very strong, and they're pretty obvious. I mean,
Shalom, I give all honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. I give double honors to our apostles and elders, great millstones. Salutations to all you sincere brothers pushing this word out across the four corners of the earth. This lesson is entitled 12 Tribes of Israel, You Are the Prey. And this is from Edamon Online for prey. It says, animal hunted for food, also that which is taken in war. And you can translate that to person or people hunted for food, also that which is taken in war. Booty, animal taken in the chase. Literally something seized before. So what people on this planet Earth are taken in war or robbed and spoiled for their true heritage? The Israelites, who are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Hispanics, and Native Americans today. We compose of the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, the Most High's chosen people. When you go back and read the scriptures, out of all nations on this planet Earth, he chose us to receive his laws, statutes, and commandments. So we are that prey that's being hunted by these other nations, because right now they on top of that food chain, and that's why everything is systematically designed to keep us at the bottom, because these higher ups, starting with the Edomite nation, who are the so-called Caucasian race today, they do not want our people to come back to who they are, which are Israelites. They want you to continue to call yourselves Negroes, African Americans, Latinos, Hispanics, so forth and so on. Because once we come back to who we are, then we start calling upon our true power, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai. That's when they know it's going to be a wrap for them. And that leads me to the book of Isaiah, the 42nd chapter and the 22nd verse. But this is a people robbed and spoiled. What are we robbed and spoiled of? Of our heritage, of us keeping our ancient customs as Israelites, of us keeping the laws, statutes, commandments that Yahweh gave to us. That's what we are robbed and spoiled of. You can ask majority of our people, and they can't even name you their true heritage, because they are caught and misguided into the ways of this world. So, but this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes, and they are hid in prison houses. So if you are so-called Negro, Latino, Hispanic, or Native American on your father's side, no matter where you are across the four corners of the earth, you are here in a prison house, meaning captivity. So we are sentenced here. This is our prison planet, because we are not in our true homeland, which is Israel. So they are for a prey, and none deliver it, for a spoil, and none say, restore. Verse 23, who among you will give ear to this? Who will hearken and hear for the time to come? So yes, out of all nations upon this planet Earth, the Israelites are the chosen people. But out of the chosen right there, you have a select few are going to be the ones that adhere and hearken to the ways of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai. That's going to the elect of the nation of Israel. So those are going to be the ones that Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai has selected for them to hear and hearken to his ways in these end times. And Lord willing, we are part of that number. We are the ones that he has gave us this treasure in earthen vessels, meaning having the understanding of his word, of his dark sayings, of his prophecies. Verse 24, who gave Jacob for a spoil and Israel to the robbers? And these robbers are talking about these other nations, starting with the Edomites. And these other nations are right in league with Esau. Did not the Lord, he against whom we have sinned, for they will not walk in his ways, neither were they obedient unto his law. So that's why we're in the predicament where we are in. You have a lot of our people be questioning that. Why the so-called blacks, Hispanics, or Native Americans, or Latinos are in that low state. And this is the reason why, because we did not walk in the ways of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. We did not try to seek the ways of keeping his laws, statutes, and commandments. We try to follow the ways of these other nations by accepting their gods, by worshiping their gods, by doing their customs, and not of our own customs as being Israelites. So that's why we're at the bottom of the totem pole right now. That's why we are the first fired, last hired. That's why we are racially discriminated no matter where we go, because we broke the laws, statutes, commandments as a people. So these other nations, like I stated before, starting with the higher ups of these other nations, they know exactly who we are. So you see with this coronavirus situation going on, which is a hoax, but Esau is spinning the narrative because he controls the narrative. So now he's putting that fear on majority of our people because our people trust in oppression. They trust in this system. They're not looking forward to a kingdom of heaven coming. This is their kingdom of heaven right now. This is their continuing city. So they putting that fear factor amongst our people. You best believe that it's going to transfer to the so-called Native Americans, the so-called Latinos, and the so-called Hispanics. But right now it's starting with the so-called Black Americans, which are from the tribe of Judah, because that's the top tribe. So Esau's trying to do anything he can to eliminate the 12 tribes in the nation of Israel. And this is all part of biblical prophecy because Esau knows exactly who we are. So they want to upset biblical prophecies because they know the kingdom of heaven is for you Israelites. They know about the kingdom. They know about the blessings. They know about the riches and the glory are for us. So they want to do anything that they can to upset biblical prophecies so they can stay in rulership forever. They want to overtake the blessing, which was spoken of in Genesis, the 27th chapter. So that's what it's all about. And this is the book of Zephaniah, the 2nd chapter, and the 1st verse. Gather yourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation not desired. What nation on this planet earth are not desired? The Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Hispanics, and Native Americans today. So, O nation not desired, and that's referring to you Israelites. You best believe that we are not sought after when these other nations be having their meetings, especially the United Nations meetings. We are not looked at as in a positive light, and they be having sayings like, well, let's give them better aid and support. Let's help them set up better establishments. They don't look at us like that because they want to continue to keep us down on the totem pole. They want to continue to keep us astray from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. So Esau, being strategic and tactical as he is, he thinks of evil plots and schemes like, well, let's set up sellouts out of their old nation, raise them up, and sell these people false hope. Make them think that they can be able to obtain this American dream. Make them think that this is their kingdom of heaven and not look for one to come. Let's help these false leaders and have them to think that homosexuality is okay. Everybody can love one another. Let's put more guns, violence, drugs, and abortion clinics in their neighborhoods. Let's set up all these false churches. Let's set up abominable foods that's against their laws and make it as a delicacy for them. Let's take the Israelite man out of the household and leave the woman alone with the rest of the children and have her to raise them. Let's set up rappers or entertainers out of their own nation as role models and have them to promote guns, violence, drugs, adultery, money, cars, clothes, women, and their music. Let's give them black culture, something that's totally adverse to their laws, statutes, and commandments that's written in the scriptures. These are just a few plots and schemes that Esau thinks about in these United Nations meetings. So we are that nation that's not desired. They are not for our benefit. They are for the downfall of us as a total people. And that's just plain and simple. So gather yourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation not desired. So our forefather Jacob, he was in the same spirit as well. And this is Genesis, the 49th chapter, and the first verse. And Jacob called unto his sons and said, gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days. So that word gather goes into congregate or assemble. So how are we going to congregate or assemble? This is Baruch, the 5th chapter and the 5th verse. Arise, O Jerusalem, and stand on high, and look about toward the east, and behold, thy children gathered from the west unto the east by the word of the Holy One, rejoicing in the remembrance of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. So that's how we're going to be gathered together. And right now, only the elect of the nation of Israel are going to be in that mindset of being gathered together. Those are the ones that Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua has put the Spirit upon them to have the understanding of His word, to come back into repentance, to come back and serve Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua solely. Not look as America or wherever they are scattered to as they continue city, but look for the kingdom of heaven to be established on this planet earth by the rulership of Yahweh Shai. So those are the ones that are going to be assembled or congregated together by the word of Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai from the eastern hemisphere all the way to the western hemisphere. So this coronavirus situation, now they are spinning the narrative because Esau, he controls the narrative. So he controls what's being said and put out there on the media platforms, that the coronavirus deaths are leading by so-called Black Americans. So now a lot of our people are more scared now. But that's the spirit that Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai want majority of our people in. You have a lot of our people hoping that Trump get things back in order in this country so they can go back to normal. Because Esau always had that hatred toward us as a people. So this is Matthew, the 2nd chapter, and the 1st verse. And it says, now when Yahushua was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem. Now King Herod, he was an Edomite, but his mom was a Jew. So he looked more like of his mom, a so-called Negro. But his spirit goes back to an Edomite because you go by what your father is. So he was trying to take hold of being a Jew. So this was around the time frame when our Lord and Savior, Yahushua, was about to be born. Now look at the hatred that Esau has for our people. Verse 2 saying, where is he that is born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east and are come to worship him. That star is talking about a chariot, a so-called UFO. When Herod the king had heard these things, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. And when he had gathered all the chief priests and scribes of the people together, he demanded of them where Yahushua should be born, because he was trying to find Yahushua's whereabouts so he can kill Yahushua. He know what was going to become of Yahushua if he came and lived. So he was trying to overthrow biblical prophecy by killing off Yahushua. Verse 5, and they said unto him in Bethlehem of Judea, for thus is written by the prophet, and thou Bethlehem in the land of Judah are not the least among the princes of Judah, for out of thee shall come a governor that shall rule my people Israel. Then Herod, when he had privily called the wise men, inquired of them diligently what time the star appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem and said, go and search diligently for the young child, and when ye have found him, bring me word again, that I may come and worship him also. So he was being a deceiver. Esau was playing like he was going to go ahead and worship Yahushua along with the wise men, but his whole objective was to kill Yahushua. He was not going to worship him. He was going to kill him so he can upset biblical prophecy, so he can stay in rulership forever. You best believe that these Edomites had that same type of spirit to this day. And Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai, he's going to unleash that ancient hatred that Esau always had for us. So majority of our people, they're going to actually see that ancient hatred that Esau has. They're going to see the horns grow out of Esau's head. And that's figuratively speaking. Verse 9, when they had heard the king, they departed, and lo, the star which they saw in the east went before them till it came and stood over where the young child was. When they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceeding great joy. Don't jump down to the point. Verse 16, then Herod, when he saw that he was mocked of the wise men, was exceeding wroth, and sent forth and slew all the children that were in Bethlehem and all the coast thereof from 2 years old and under, according to the time which he had diligently inquired of the wise men. This devil Herod, he killed off a lot of the children of Israel, starting with the ages of 2 years old and under. So that was like a form of martial law right there. So what you think what Esau is going to do when he knows that he has but a short time to rule? He sees these different chariot sightings. He knows about the signs of the super moons, the eclipses, the pink moons. When these things start being displayed on the earth, he knows that Yahushua is on his way back. This is Herod, Edomite, was trying to kill Yahushua when he was coming to the earth as a child. So that same spirit is going to be upon Esau to do the same thing to the children of Israel when they see Yahushua coming back for his second coming. It's all spiritual. So just that great wrath Esau had for the children of Israel by slaying a lot of the kids under 2 years old and under, that same spirit is going to be upon Esau in these last days of time, because this is his last rulership. So Esau has been the devil as he is. He's not going to go without a fight. He's going to fight tooth and nail to keep his kingdom. If he had to destroy himself by destroying us, he will do it. That's the type of character that we are dealing with here. And that leads me to the book of Lamentations, the 2nd chapter and the 3rd verse. He had cut off in fierce anger all the horn Israel. He was greatly upset with us as a people. So this is the prophet Jeremiah talking about this in the book of Lamentations, meaning mourning, great wailing, great sorrow. He had cut off in his fierce anger all the horn of Israel. So all our power was gone because Yahweh Shah took away that power. And that's why we became swallowed up to these other nations. They devour us. It's nothing new under the sun. He had drawn back his right hand from before the enemy. So by having to understand that right hand, it's talking about us knowing Yahweh, knowing his name. So we got stripped away with that when we came over here to the Americas. That's why I said that he hid his face, meaning that he hid his name. Because aforetime when we was in our captivity, we cried and called upon Yahweh. He would send a savior to come deliver us out of our captivity. So in this captivity right here, no matter how much we cried, we begged for a God to come save us, the Most High did not hear us because that name wasn't displayed on the earth at that point. But now transferring to these end times, his name is out there now. So Yahweh Shah, he hears the cries of his elect, the men that sigh and cry for all the abominations done in the midst thereof. So he hears our cries. So therefore Yahweh, he is bound by his word. So he got to send Yahweh Shah back to come rectify things back on this earth, to come redeem his elect of the nation of Israel. So he had drawn back his right hand from before the enemy, these other nations, and he burned against Jacob like a flaming fire, which devoured round about. He had bent his bow like an enemy. He stood with his right hand as an adversary and slew all that were pleasant to the eye in the tabernacle of the daughter of Zion. He poured out his fury like fire. Verse 5, the Lord was as an enemy. So this right here, the Most High, us being his firstborn, the children of Israel were given his laws, statutes, commandments to follow as a people. We broke that contract with the Most High. So therefore that contract was disannulled. He became so angry and upset with us as a people. It says right here that he was as an enemy. That's how cold the Most High is. So that same spirit that was upon Yahweh toward us in all our different captivities, it's going to be upon 2/3 of the nation of Israel. The ones of our people that don't want to get right, they want to continue to reject Yahweh Bashim Rashai. So that same spirit is going to be upon him when Esau comes down on our people, that great wrath, which is called Jacob's trouble, pursuant to the book of Jeremiah, the 30th chapter, and Daniel, the 12th chapter. So the Lord was as an enemy. He's going to become that enemy again to 2/3 of the nation of Israel. But he's going to become friends with the elect of the nation of Israel, because those are the ones who are trying to seek Yahweh Bashim Shah by all means. So the Lord was as an enemy. He had swallowed up Israel. He had swallowed up all her palaces. He had destroyed his strongholds. And he had increased in the daughter of Judah mourning and lamentation. And that same vibration is about to get ready to come back. That's why you see in the news how so-called Black Americans are leading the deaths of coronavirus. This is all controlled by Esau, which is the left hand of the Most High. So he's going to use Esau to do his will and his bidding on 2/3 of the nation of Israel, because 2/3 of the nation of Israel rejected the Most High and Yahweh Shah. So therefore, Yahweh Bashim Shah is going to reject 2/3 of the nation of Israel. He's going to get them into the hands of Esau and these other nations. And that leads me to the book of Isaiah, the 10th chapter and the 5th verse. O Assyrian, the rod of my anger. So the modern day Assyrians talking about these Edomites. And the staff in their hand is my indignation. So that staff is going to that power. And what's part of Esau's power? His blessing, which is that sword. So Esau with that sword, he's going to be a total demon on majority of our people. So that's why it says, and the staff in their hand is my indignation. So that's the Most High's righteous anger, that he's going to put that ancient hatred that Esau had for Jacob. He's going to put that on these Edomites in these last days. And it's going to be toward 2/3 of the nation of Israel. And for the ones of us, Lord willing, we part of the hopeful elect, we got to die as martyrs, so be it. Because we're going to be raised back up with Yahushua when he comes back with the chariots. So that's cool. But the ones of our people that rejected Yahweh Bashem Shai, that's going to be that righteous anger that the Most High is going to put on Esau to clamp down on 2/3 of the nation of Israel. Verse 6, I will send him against a hypocritical nation, talking about the children of Israel, because majority of our people are nothing but hypocrites. They pretend like they worship the Most High. They pretend like they want to learn the truth, but they doing nothing but trying to follow the ways of this world. So Yahweh Bashem Shai, he's against this world, and he's definitely against 2/3 of the nation of Israel that are for this world. And against the people of my wrath will I give him a charge, to take the spoil and to take the prey and to tread them down like the mire of the streets. And that's why this video is titled Through the Spirit, 12 Tribes of Israel, you are the prey. Because a lot of our people love to argue and bicker with us out there on the highways and the byways, leave negative remarks on the comment boards, and say things like, why are you all calling the white man the devil? Why is the white man not accepted by the Most High? Why can't he receive salvation? God loves everybody. So you want to disobey and disrespect Yahweh Bashem Shai via his prophets. Therefore, Yahweh Bashem Shai is going to put you in the hands of these Edomites, which is the staff in their hand, my indignation. So the Most High's anger is going to be upon Esau to tear down 2/3 of the nation of Israel. That's why he's going to come down with our people with great wrath. So whatever fear of death or dire situation 2/3 of the nation of Israel do not want to be in, Yahweh Bashem Shai is going to allow 2/3 of the nation of Israel die of their worst fears. And he's going to tap into these Edomite spirits, just like the hatred Esau had for Jacob in the book of Genesis, the 27th chapter. We about to see that ancient hatred rise out of Esau in these last days. And that's the time frames that we are coming into. And don't forget what that ex-CIA agent, Michael Mahoney, said. They cannot wait to get their hands on the Christians. That's referring to the saints of the Most High, you Israelites. We're about to get ready to see the left-hand side of Yahweh Bashem Shai do his work. And that's his sword on the left-hand side, which is Esau. But we know through prophecy's sake that the right hand is going to overcome the left hand very soon, which is Yahweh Shai. So 12 tribes of Israel, you are the prey. And with that, I hope y'all was edified. Shalom.
Yeah, this is something that's come up over the last, I hadn't heard this, and then over the last few days, this has come up more and more. And I don't mean by a little bit. I mean many times. It's a real thing. Now, we want to find cures. We want to find therapeutics. We want to find vaccines, because that will solve everybody's problem. But why is it that the African American community is so much, numerous times more than everybody else? And we want to find the reason to it. And Dr. Fauci, Seema, both of them and others are working on this. And they're going to have very good, I would say in less than a week, I think you're going to have very good statistics. Couple of days.
Something specifically aimed at those communities that are being hard hit, those black communities.
Well, we're helping them a lot. But what's happening is we're trying to find out why is it that it's 3 and 4 times. Now, maybe that's not going to be the final number, but why is it 3 or 4 times more so for the black community as opposed to other people? It doesn't make sense, and I don't like it.
All I'm saying is, survive. All right?